Hi, everyone. Welcome to Magic in the Matrix. I'm your co host, Kelsey, and here I am with
Alexander Fox.
what's up, Mr. Fox? I have something cool to tell you about something I bought. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, I don't know exactly what it is, so I'm hoping you can opine a little bit, but I got a grounding mat. Do you know of these things?
I
I guess
sure
it's gonna
do.
go on my bed. Like, tell us, inform us. How do these things work?
Yeah, so a grounding mat will literally have crystals inside of it, and it'll have like a really nice comforter. Sometimes it's leather, sometimes it's cotton, and like throughout the entire mat, just like crystals, sometimes like they're little bits of it, sometimes like they're really flat. And then like you'll plug it in and then it'll amplify the frequency, the vibration of the crystals. So then you'll start to get the effects of what it truly does for our vibration on a deep cellular level, to help with our minds, to help with our bodies feeling good, and just be more connected into our bodies and to something that really does want to help us.
Okay, I don't think mine's the leather version, but I'm really excited. I'm about to be
Yeah.
grounded AF, waking up just refreshed, recharged, literally recharged, right? Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for your insight. That I kind of just threw that at you and you're like, are you a salesperson for grounding mats? Damn, if not, you should be.
I could definitely use a grounding mat. I mean, because you can get them with like obsidian or amethyst or clear quartz or even um like a sunstone. You can get
Wow.
tiger's eye. There's so many different ones that you can get.
All right. Shout out to Obsidian, one of my favorite stones. But another episode, as always, we have dreams. Anyway, that sounds great. Sounds like I will be vibing high after this. Welcome to our episode on vibes, guys. Woo, round of applause.
Welcome.
Okay, so we all talk about vibes quite a bit in our vernacular, right? Like that room had a weird vibe, or that girl had a cool vibe, so on and so forth. Like,
Mm,
what is a vibe? You do not have to be some psychic healer to know vibes. Like, we literally can feel them everywhere we go. Let's talk about it. When you hear spiritual people
mm.
saying, "What's a high vibe?" Like, what comes to mind for you?
For me, it's like seeing your manifestations come true. It's like people buying you food in line, or you have such a great experience of like just being in the present moment and everything just flows and feels so good just to be who you are in what you're doing. And, you know, even like you have a great conversation with somebody, even with like a stranger or a friend, and everything just works out. Everything always just has a way of working out. And then like maintaining that's a different story, but that's a good gist of high vibes.
I love that you go right to someone buying you food. Like, let's do it. Give me snacks, peeps.
You can
Uh,
manifest free food for yourself right now. If you just claim it within the next week, say that someone will buy me a free meal or prepare me a free meal, let it go.
on the record, I will be manifesting free food. If we see a DoorDash person lost, maybe they'll come bring something here. I love
Hey,
that.
I'm that person that's on the receipt.
Okay, I won't steal food, people. I will vibe in my things another way. Well, I really like
Mm,
I think you mentioned presence in your vibe, like that high vibe. That's a really important part of being your high vibration, right? Like if you're all worrying or I don't know, dwelling on something terrible in the past, like it's hard to really be in this higher vibration when you're out of your present moment, right?
yes, it
Yeah.
truly is. Have you had a moment where you felt like you were vibing, everything was working out, and then like some external force like brings you out of alignment, and you're like, oh, I'm down and out, and I can't really get back up.
Very that. I definitely get in these bliss states. Like for me, a high vibe is some level of like inner peace that you're just in surrender mode, right? And trust, like, hey, things gonna work out for me. If you get in that vibration and it's just like on this guttural level, you do feel like the universe has your back and the
Mm,
universe is conspiring in your favor, like very the alchemist kind of vibes there. I think it's like
ooh,
for me, like, I get in that state where I'm like, wow, puppies are around and the sun is beautiful and look at that bug and look at that plant. I'll get all excited about that. And then I don't know, slam, I'll get like some work email and someone's like flipping about something, or slam, like someone's like really agitated in a line or something. And then you're like, whoa, like it's so jarring when you're in that vibration to just get thrust out of it.
For real.
I'm trying to think of other high, like keep them coming, other high vibe things. I definitely think in a high vibe, things look clearer. Do you know what I mean? I know that sounds a little out there, but when I'm in my bliss surrender state and I'm walking around, I'm like flowers smell better. Things look prettier, clothes look cool on people, like people just look cool. I just like love everyone more. What else for you?
Mm. What else for me is a high vibe? Oh, I'll get like random messages from people of like, oh my God, I love what you're doing. And like, thank you so much for putting yourself out there. Like, I really resonated with that. It's exactly what I needed to hear. And you're just being yourself, you know?
Yes.
And then out of nowhere, someone's like, thank you. Thank you for being you, you know? Or thank you for holding space or being so present with me as we're having a conversation. Like I felt like you weren't out of alignment or thinking about some random thing. Like you were totally here with me, listening to me, you know, feeling my energy and just really caring about where I'm at and what I'm saying.
That's totally true. This
Mm,
guy's okay. This can be, you can brag to your friends you're learning and thinking about quantum physics in your free time if you're listening to Magic in the Matrix,
mm,
because it's really quantum physics, right? Like at a quantum level, energy is like quantum entanglement, quantum coherence, like little particles that are waving, like at some point they're together. And then if they're far apart in the universe, like some look at these visuals. I hope you guys are watching on YouTube. He's making me laugh. But even these particles, like once they're very separate, like they could be across the universe, they're still impacted and flowing kind of in that same way. So when
mm,
you start to see, like experience in your environment that people are just like, wow, you're such a wonderful friend. Like you get those random messages of people just saying some earnest shiz. I love that. Like when I get in that state where I'm like, I don't know, people love me and I love people, you start to really see in your conscious awareness from that quantum level. Like that's what I believe. Like it's all quantum physics. If you're at that vibration, because like right where everything's energy. So if you're in that energy that's like a higher vibe, it's attracting in joy and love and authenticity and vulnerability. Like to
mm.
me, those are the vibe, laughter. So you're getting text messages kind of from the out of the blue from your friends or family or clients or whatever, just saying some like sweet, earnest, loving, joyful things, or people are like, oh my gosh, I had this amazing win in my career and I wanted to tell you. I'm like,
Hmm.
yeah, I'm in the pocket now, babe. I love that you said that because it's quantum physics and that's what we do. Magic in the Matrix is quantum physics.
Oh yeah, all day, every day.
Hey. Oh, that's awesome. All right. So counterpoint to that, if you're in your quantum entanglement with a low vibe, like what are some things you're attracting in?
Mm. When you're attracting, when it's
You
like
can
the
even
lower
just say
vibes.
one if you don't want to call it in for yourself. Like if some other person is in a low vibe, like what are they experiencing?
A personal story from me is like since I have a spiritual business with like soul coaching and Reiki and breath work and all that. And, you know, if I had a day like where I was super depressed and it happened for like a longer period of time than where it normally should, sometimes I'll even get a phone call from someone like back home in Cleveland who found my business online. And they're just like, I feel so lost. I'm so confused. I feel depressed and everything. And they're literally like being a mirror of like what I'm going through right now. And it's sad and so like, it sucks for them to to be going through that. There's just a level in me that rises up and says, you know, you don't have to be at that level. It's your choice. So, you know, if things are really not working out for you, like being in those low vibes suck. But like ways that it
Mhm.
happens, I'm like actually drawing a blank right now because I've been so high on life the last like week. So I'm trying to
I can
think,
think
how
of a
about you?
few. I gotta say, real quick before we get into any low vibe things. It's
Mm,
really inspiring to hear that anecdote you just shared, that like you utilize maybe some feelings of depression or some, I don't know, lower vibrations, and then you see that reflected, but then you choose to rise to bring you both up. Like that's really beautiful. I just want to spend a moment before we race on to other things just to say that I really admire that and love that for you, because you could choose to just be like, not responding to things today, I don't feel strong. But what you choose to do, and that'll get to how my kind of thoughts on low vibe is a level of empowerment, right? But I just first want to, before I get to my thought, just say honor this and hold a little bit of space for you sharing that, because that's beautiful.
mm. Thank you.
Of
That means a
course.
lot.
Of course.
Mm.
All right. When I think of low vibe, though, I think a lot about victimization mindset. And this is not like victim blaming trauma, like, we're not going there. But in a low vibe state, like in a high vibe state, right? You're saying you surrender, you trust the universe has your back, and you're on this beautiful path. And like whatever happens, you're kind of in this flow of love. The low vibe is the exact opposite of that, right? Like you don't feel like the universe has your back. That's why you feel depressed, right? You're
Mm.
just like, I don't know how to get out of this, and everything stinks. It's like you're in this paradigm where your consciousness is seeing like everything's bad around me and anything I do doesn't work. Have you ever heard of like external versus internal locus of control?
Ooh, I have not heard of that one.
Okay, lesson time. Because I think about the in the terms of the external versus internal locus of control a lot. So an external locus of control, you're like, hey, like I'm in charge of my destiny. No, sorry, it's the opposite. External locus of control. I forgot which one I said first. External locus of control is like things happen to me, right? Like experiences in life and the government and my mean boss and da 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 da. Everything's happening to me, and they have all these things and climate and this and that. And everything is just like you're just kind of a cog in the wheel of all these external factors that are guiding what happens in your life. And so some people get really stuck in that where they're like, oh, there's nothing I can do. An internal locus of control is like, I direct my own life, right? So I can make choices, I can make decisions to impact how my day goes, right? So just like the story you said, you had a very strong internal locus of control. You're like, oh, whatever's going on that's kind of bringing you down, blah, 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 frustrating things. Then some kind of action occurs, right? And like, hey, someone needs me. And you're like, I'm going to choose to make this vibration of joy and empowerment. I'm going to empower myself to work and spread love and learning and wisdom and healing to these people. And
Mm,
I think there's probably some little bit of a blend of these factors, right? Like you can't just get so overly like everything is only up to me. And I honestly gotten that a little bit in my young 20s where I was like, I'm hyper independent. And if I work towards anything and everything, like I've got it. And sometimes I was honestly working towards outcomes that I don't think were in my soul plan. You couldn't have
mm,
told me that back then. I was going for it. Or, right, like a relationship and you're going for it. But
right.
sometimes I think that like healthy internal locus of control, or in a less like textbooky way, that a healthy empowerment can really get you out of the low vibe and into the high vibe.
Yeah, totally agree with you on that. It's always going to be the choices that we can make and how we're going to react to it. And it is okay to be in the dumps sometimes, it's like
Yes.
we do have to look at it from all angles, nooks and crannies to see why it happened, how it's happening, what can we learn from it. Like if your boss yells at you, oh God, you're probably going to feel a little bit down. If
Mm-hmm.
you get a speeding ticket, you're probably going to feel down,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's just like, oh man. And then, you get home and, maybe your dog takes an accident on the carpet,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, oh man, I got to clean this up. And then you look in your fridge and, oh my God, I don't have any more food. And I got to go grocery shopping. I got to go back out. And oh my God, I might get a ticket again. Now I got to drive even more slow. And then like you're just putting all this extra anxiety and stress and, all unwarranted stuff that doesn't really need to be there.
I totally agree. And I think that low vibe can kind of
Mm-hmm.
compound. So just like what you're seeing reflected to you in the high vibe is an indication of your state, same with low vibe. Like if you're going out and you see someone like yelling at her kid and being way too curt or yelling at the cashier, and then you see people like almost slamming into each other, and then you break your nail, and then this happens, and then you're like, ah, my back broke. Like when you're seeing your environment just
Mm,
reflecting this like frustration and like reactivity that's not feeling kind and in a love vibration, you're probably in a low vibe yourself. So like take a beat to get in your body because you can snap out of it pretty quickly, and you can do that in
mhm.
many ways. What are some ways you snap out of a low vibe?
I got a perfect example. When I was back home in Cleveland, I was in line to go vote. And I like walk into the voting polls and there's like 100 plus people. And the vibe was very heavy. Like I could tell people were stressed, they have
Yeah.
anxiety. This election was like, you know, a lot for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I tell myself this word and it's called agape.
Okay.
And agape has to deal with love and intuition and higher self and connectivity and like peace and a few other things. It's like a Latin word and also a Greek word. And I just started saying this word like agape, 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 just internally, literally within like 5 or 10 seconds. Like, and it's quiet. It's pretty quiet in the voting polls. And a
Mm.
guy all the way up at the front of the line just goes, "This is my first time voting." And he was so happy to say it. And then everyone stopped what they were doing and all was clapping and going,
Oh.
and and then the vibe changed instantly for everyone. Everyone felt so much better being there, being in their bodies, like all the stress just like left the building and it never came back.
Wow. What a very sweet story.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Also, that
Yeah.
mantra, it's like a mantra kind of, right? Just repeating that word and like all the intention behind it. Okay, so
Yeah.
mantra, that's a cool one. But
Oh,
that's like, I would feel like superhero if I like thought that and then things shifted that quickly. Very cool. You got another one?
that I have a handful of stories, but like we definitely got to do an episode on mantras because those are powerful.
Done. Done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I have this energy clearing routine, fam. I can tell you sometime, but I get to the throat chakra part of it and do all these mantras.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started adding some, adding more. No, I have a lot. I have a fun one to get out of a low vibe, and
Ooh,
that is
let's hear it.
laughter. I have a story. So I came home after a very, very long day of work last week, and I saw out of the corner of my eye a very large bug. Okay. And honestly, I think it was a cockroach. I don't know. My friends at work were like, it's totally a cockroach. Either way, I literally like chased it with some like peppermint oil spray. It just went under my oven. I like felt like I was going to cry and throw up. I just got in my bed, did not eat anything but a protein bar for dinner, and just like sat there till like dawn. No, I slept a little bit. But I woke up in the morning and I was frustrated. I was like, I have all this work and I have all this stuff to do, and I have a freaking cockroach somewhere like laying eggs, like, and I have to walk Ollie, and I'm tired, and it's still dark out with daylight savings. Like, definitely just all the low vibe things. Like, woe is me. And I see it, and I'm like, there it is. And then I
Mm.
grab a shoe, I grab my pit bull Ollie, and I'm like, come on, help. Anyway, and I was like so like frustrated and scared and grossed out and irritated. But then like I just started laughing hysterically at myself. I'm like, what is Ollie gonna do? I don't even know about this shoe. Like literally, this is ridiculous. It's like 5
It,
a.m. I'm just in these streets chasing a
oh.
cockroach, envisioning like eggs everywhere in it flying and like turning into a god. I'm like, this is so silly that it's honestly comical. And like superhero Kels chasing a cockroach with her pit bull sidekick is kind of iconic and should be a comic book. So yeah, I after I laughed a lot about it, I was like, everything's fine. Like a bug. This isn't the first time a bug got in a house in Texas, y'all.
Did you literally like think of like the absolute worst case scenario of thinking the bug was going to turn into a god?
I feel like
And
any and
like,
every thought possible ran through my head. Guys, the truth is after I did kill it, and then I felt like I don't know. I felt bad about it. And then I texted Alexander and I was like, I killed a bug. Did I ruin my karma?
Yes and no.
And I was like, I fully gave it gratitude for all it taught me about removing what's not meant for me. Like I did a whole ceremony, but yeah, if you kill a cockroach in your house and then laugh at yourself and then text your friends about your karma, then you're me. Then you're a me girl.
And then if you're me on the receiving end, you do your best to have uh understanding and hearing both sides because it's like, oh, why did you just take the life of that cockroach? I had a family. And it's like, well, I was protecting myself and my dog, and I
Mm-hmm.
also showed it love and gratitude. So when it was going on to its next life, because I think you believe in reincarnation and
Very,
past
very
lives.
that. Yes.
Okay. And if you have that intention, I feel like you're good.
Who knows, guys? But laughter, it can help. It did. And another way I get out of a low vibe is perspective, right? Like sometimes I don't know, say I get like an email that's frustrating, or I'm like, oh man, I thought we were done this project. Now we're iterating another time or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, well, I'm here at work for the next 7.5 hours and I know what to do. And this is what I get paid for. And I, with my own free will, chose to be here. Da, 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 da. And in a
Mm.
week, 6 months, a year, 5 years, all of those time frames, I will not think about this. Same with like a broken nail or something, right? Like even silly things. If you find yourself frustrated, it's like, this doesn't matter. Like it really doesn't. I think perspective is maybe like the cheat code to getting out of a low vibe.
Yes. And even seeing yourself like outside of yourself,
Yeah.
like a great meditation to do if you're kind of stuck or feeling lost or confused and you just want to come back to like a very peaceful present state is just visualize like a little action figure of yourself just like outside like on the computer or like on your desk and then just sit with it and just stare at it, just stare at yourself just being. And like it, for me, it just brings like this extra feeling, like this extra emotion of just like, whoa, okay, like the anxiety and stress just kind of like melted away. And now I'm just like solely focused on myself, but like outside of myself. And then bring that little action figure that you use to bring that peace and harmony back into yourself.
Ooh. Ooh, I like that.
Mm.
Whew. Also, can we get action figures of us? That'd be litty.
Oh, dude, I love that. We
I'm
got to
into
make that
that.
happen.
I'm into that. Wow, no, but to
We
to
can,
not make a joke out of that because that was such a good recommendation. That yeah, I think that perspective, that visualization, that can help a lot. Also, just like trust, right? Sometimes things seem
mm,
like they're going poorly or like everything's going wrong today. And it's that thing where like, right, you're stuck in traffic for whatever reason.
you're
It's just
late
like
for
a
work.
yeah, but then you missed an accident that you might have been a part of down the road if you had been a little bit ahead of your schedule, or and so on and so forth, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think ascribing like a good or a bad on circumstances sometimes is just like useless because we don't know. I mean, I wish we did. I would love it if we just had more clarity of every little bit of our path and why everything was happening, but you all know that there's certain things you thought was problematic or horrible or the end of your life, and then looking back it was just a very critical step to get you on another path that was much greater than you could have fathomed. So fam, remember to surrender because it is not worth freaking out about these little things and then
You got
manifesting in all sorts of stress.
you got that right.
Preach.
Not worth it.
Hey, this is a great episode on vibes. Any other vibes from you? I think I'm vibed out, but these are good vibes.
Oh yeah, great vibes to be vibed out on.
All right.
Absolutely.
Vibe out. One more comment. If you write comic strips and you do the Kelsey Ollie cockroach strip, you're the best vibe here.
Or if you create action figures of both of us.
Woo! Oh,
Yes.
talk about
Manifesting.
manifestation. Oh my gosh, our manifestation episode is coming quickly. I don't know if that's next or a
It's
mailbag or what, but if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, share, pontificate, wax poetic about it at work at your meeting. We love you, fam. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Magic in the Matrix. Bye now.
Peace, love, and blessings.